Hey everybody! Did you see that? Cake, did you see that? Did you? Did you?
I did see it. I was muted, I'm sorry.
No, you're naughty. You're like naughty. It was kind of cool, right? Can I do it again? I'm gonna do it again. Here, I'll do the next, watch this, okay. It's fancy is what it is. Yeah, I learned how to do that today. Hello, everybody. How are you? It's good to see you. Glad you're all here. Welcome to Quilt Nerd. We start about 10 minutes after. Is that jazz too high? I think it's okay. It's okay, right, Cake? You're gonna meet Stephanie the Cake in just a minute. Our on-air producer. Sounds good, right? It's okay? All right. When I get from Cake, I know it's good. So welcome to Quilt Nerd. This is a show like you've never seen before, unless you've been here for a while, in which case it's Saturday night and it's Quilt Nerd time. This is kind of like our friend Mark said early on in this project, this experiment. Quilt Nerd is like a visual podcast. And we thought that was pretty good. There's wonderful media to be had in the quilt world. The quilt world is huge. When I tell people who don't know about the quilt world that there's a quilt world, they say, really? And I say yes. Hey, we did a hype train. That's amazing. What is a hype train? It means people are like into the show. It means that you're subscribing and you're like cheering with your bits, and Twitch is really fun. And if you're new to Twitch, then welcome. It's not scary. Amazon owns it. So, you know, the Prime days that you just enjoyed perhaps, Twitch is made possible by the, what did I get? Did you get anything? Cake, did you order anything for Amazon Prime Day?
I ordered a hot water kettle.
That's a really, really good thing to order on Amazon Prime Day. What did you all order on Amazon Prime Day? By the way, I want to make this show more professional all the time, but I am sweating again. Susanna, who's the pie to Stephanie's Cake, mentioned something the other day about me talking about how I was sweating, but I really am glistening. I learned that they turn the air conditioning off on the weekends here at the office building. Wow, I'm really warm. So they were like, I talked to the guy, he was like, we run the air from 6 a.m. till 1:30 on the weekends. After that, too expensive. And I was like, that makes sense. It's too bad. Anyway, so perhaps I'll do a wardrobe change. Anyway, the point is that I would love to know what you got on Amazon Prime Day. I forget what I got, but anyway, Twitch is a lot of fun, and there's fun things you can do, but the thing that you are here for, I think, probably, if you're here in the audience, is quilts, and that's what we do here. The internet is really big, and like I said, there's a lot of quilt content out there. The quilt world is huge, but there's not a show like this. For one thing, we have a really wonderful community that's growing of people who like to study quilts, and it's not like we're reading thesis papers together. We might, but we're really just looking at wonderful things and investigating them and asking questions about them and learning about them. And I'm learning about them along with you. The quilt behind me, we're going to talk about. I also get a little nervous. But anyway, the quilt behind me is kind of where we start the show, content-wise. Tonight, I'm going to show you, I've got a segment called Fruit Salad. Yeah, fruit salad. Fruit salad, I've got quilts with fruit on them. Yeah. From a long time ago until today. And that took me into a wonderful exploration of this wonderful quilt designer from Italy. And she's amazing. And then, you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about Chintz. And Chintz, we do a lot of like stuff that's very a la mode today. You know, we talk about all kinds of art and fashion and philosophy. You know, what is a quilt? Is it art or craft? You know, we talk about these kinds of things because quilts can take you everywhere and they tell you about the whole wide world, you know. But I don't go into the deep past too often. So tonight, we're going to talk about Chintz. But here's the thing, is that I was looking at these quilts and I was like, everybody always talks about this, expensive chintz that came from India, this particular fabric. And I was like, how did they make it? Well, we're gonna watch a video on how they made it. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff we do here. You know what I mean? And it's a good time. It's a good time. I'm gonna have to change out of my sweatshirt. Cake, you're gonna have to entertain him here for a second. But anyway, let me say hi to some people. We start about 10 minutes after the hour so people can get in the chat and just kind of hang out. And Stephanie and I can get our stuff sorted and it's just kind of how we do it, because it's like, it's a community and people like to talk a little bit and all that. And I usually need all my time before the show starts. Hey, it's Dana and Myra and Bonnie. Somebody's name's covered up by a thing I don't understand. M. Sujan, it's okay. It's Saturday night. It is Saturday night. It's time for Quilt Church. The show is called Quilt Church for a hot minute. You know, the OGs know. Because it's kind of like church for quilts. It's very good. You won't learn how to make quilts here, by the way. If I didn't say that, you should know that. But don't leave. There's all kinds of content for you. But there's nothing like this. Oh, Pen Burrito cheered. Pen Burrito, I gotta move your cheer over. Thank you for cheering. And thank you to all my subscribers. Lil Bird Stitch and Susan R. Michael. And Padma. God bless you. Kenny V. An Unmaker, L. Riggs. Mama Llama's back. Yes. QB Tara, I got your email. It is all good. I laughed. Yeah, I laughed. I think you're very cool. What? Another hype train. That's like 3. I have a soundboard and I will use it. Clearly. Oh no. So Mama Llama's working on binding. Oh yeah, Cake. Go ahead.
Can we get a crisps report, Mary?
Oh yes, a crisps report. So I have to have my chips, or my crisps, if you will. And tonight I had, oh dear God. Did somebody tell me what kind I had to have? No. Okay. They're jalapeno.
No, I think you're good.
Okay. They're jalapeno and I have some wine. Yep. So it's Saturday night. I'm very excited about the show. So Bridgewater's here. Kitty Hannah, how are you doing? Thinking about you. Bip's here. And I said hi to Myra about Bears repeating. Charles is here. Felt like sweets. Teacher Stitch. Zach Rose. Hey. It's so good to see everybody. If I missed you, Crosley at home. Oh my God. Earth Girl now. SJ Pepper. Oh no. My Great Cats and everybody. Okay. So if I missed you so far, and if I missed SJ Pepper's cheeky comments, I feel like there will be more opportunities to banter. Sohani, hi. Sohani says, I got a Bosu ball. You're standing at your desk adapter and anti-fatigue mat for Amazon Prime Day. Oh, wait, oh no. Okay, wait a minute. Sohani got a Bosu ball, standing desk adapter, and anti-fatigue mat for Amazon Prime Day, living on the edge. Oh yeah, people are telling me what they got. First of all, Sohani, well done. Well done, because you might have been on the fence. You might have been teetering, if you will, about the Bosu ball. But then Amazon Prime Day comes and you're like, you know what? Click. And I bet you already have it. And if you don't, you're gonna have it this week. I love that. Myra ordered the Panasonic 360 cordless iron. Oh, that's good. That's very good. That's very good, cordless iron. You know what? Sometime on the show, I gotta write it down. We'll do like iron history, like the history of irons. Did you know there were gas-powered irons? Not good. Iron history. Slug irons, fascinating. Got home from Kelly, you got home from the nursing facility just in time for the show. We're really glad you're here. El Rig's got a Wi-Fi booster so you can get a better signal upstairs just for Quilt Nerd. Approved. Oh God. That was very artsy. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm cooling down. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Jan makes stuff. Hello. So we're gonna get started with just a couple quick things, a bit of business, and then we'll begin. And if you thought the stuff we've been doing was business, wait till I give you the business. First of all, Next Friday is Quilters Newsletter Friday, so a week from yesterday. And if you haven't been to Quilters Newsletter Friday ever, or in a minute, you should come, because the show has evolved. It started out as a way for me to do an extra stream that didn't involve any work, and then, like always, I made it really hard. No, I'm kidding. But we're gonna look at a Quilters Newsletter magazine from 1982, and the reason we'll do it is because my younger sister Rebecca is turning 40 years old on Monday. She will be 40, and she was born in 1982. So we're gonna do that, and we look at the magazine from the past, because it has so many interesting things in it, including ads, like an ad for Ginny Byers' first VHS training tape. Quilt teaching tape. It was like boot camp, like Ginny Byers Fitness 5000 or something like that. But it's fascinating, and wonderful articles about really great things. It's great. And then subscriber benefits we're going to talk about a little bit later. And we have merch. Yes, at long last. In fact, I will put on a piece of the merch for modeling purposes. Also, it's a t-shirt, not a sweatshirt. We have merch. Kate, would you throw that link in the chat? The link for the shop. Thank you. It's an artist shop, which means that it's a print-on-demand thing. So we uploaded our wonderful designs, and you can order them, and they print them and send them to you. Threadless is a company here in Chicago. They are great. They've been around for a while, and they do a really good job. And so we have a turkey red t-shirt. We have a double pink t-shirt. We have stickers. Oh my God. Oh, and we have tote bags. Okay, let me show you these tote bags. They're amazing. And I will also introduce you to the cake. Check this out. You ready? Look at that transition. That's right. This is Stephanie, the cake. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for being here and doing everything that you do. You do many things, and you only see a little bit of what Stephanie does while you're on the show. You do a lot when we're not on the air.
Oh, shucks.
Spoken like the humble and brilliant cake. Yeah, indeed. So thank you for being here, Stephanie Cake. And I will also, look at this. Look at that. There's me modeling the tote bag that came in on Friday, yesterday. The tote bags are great. They're great. And they're in the shop. You can order them. Keep quilts weird. That is our mantra around here. The over-commercialization of the quilt world, it happened. It's happened before. And my mother was part of it, and I was part of it. But I'm an apostate now, and we want to keep quilts weird. So here's another one. Keep quilts weird. Look at that little black horse in there. Sorry, it's Friday night in Chicago. There's a little bit of noise, but yeah, look at that. There's a black horse and a little black sheep or a pig up there too. They're weird. Well, the person made a really weird quilt too. Anyway, they're great, and you should get one. There's 2 sizes, I believe. And then Susanna, I just want to give a shout out to Susanna. We have the cake and we also have the pie, and Susanna and Stephanie both are amazing, and they're helping out with the show. They've already done so many things. I can't even count how many things they have done to really help Quilt Nerd happen. And things that are developing with Quilt Nerd are possible because they're here. So Susanna, thank you so much. She's like, I don't know if I want to be strawberry rhubarb pie or lemon meringue. So stay tuned and we will find out. Okay, Cake, will you tell the folks about subscriber benefits? Would you, on the Twitch About page, there's a subscriber benefit overview, and maybe you could tell them that while I do a wardrobe change. Would that be all right? Just kind of go through the tiers and stuff?
Yeah, I sure can.
Okay, BRB. Hang on, let me get you,
okay.
Let me get you up here. Yeah, okay, let me see.
And before I cover those, I think Myra has cashed in a few 10,500 thimbles. So that's something, I guess, before I talk about the tiers, just if you're new here or have not heard about the thimbles that you accumulate by being here live, you can spend those on cool things, like highlighting your message, or demanding that Mary cover a particular topic, or being a soundboard pirate, or demanding that Mary eat a certain kind of crisps. So there's lots of cool things you could do with that. And Myra, I need to circle back with you because I think that you put a name in there, and I just want to confirm. But in terms of our tiers, tier 1, which is if you are a Prime subscriber, which it looks like a lot of people here are, because they got some Prime stuff. If you're a Prime subscriber, you can subscribe for free. And then you get all this really cool stuff under tier 1, which are all these crazy emotes, access to our Discord, which is probably one of the biggest perks. Because, I know it's kind of, sometimes it's a little crazy to keep up with the chat, but over there on the Discord, you can see some of the same names and faces, and you can have kind of slower conversations with them. So that's really awesome. There are giveaways. I saw MC John in here. Looks like she got her book, Mary. That's very exciting. So a monthly book giveaway. Anybody who is subscribed is eligible, whether you are here or not. So if you are in a place like Australia, and you can't get here very often, although I did see her a little Spitfire, so good to see you back. You still get all of those wonderful perks, even if you can't be here in person, live.
Awesome.
And then tier 2 and 3, I spent a lot of time, and I see you're wearing antimony, so.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great. It's great. You, let's see, you did great, and you talked about the different things. I don't know which button I'm going for here. The tiers, they're great. I mean, you get more things, like sort of the different tier that you choose. You have all kinds of options and like special streams and all kinds of, here comes the transition. Yeah. Oh, wow. Really changed the lighting quality. And the green screen situation. Interesting. So many calibrations. Okay, you know what? Let me get small. Help, I'm small. This is the antimony t-shirt. Antimony is another term, another term for cheddar, which is a chrome orange or chrome yellow, the kind of fabric we all love to see in those 19th century quilts. Cheddar quilts, very iconic, very cool, a great shade, color fast in most cases. And this is the cheddar shirt. But I put cheddar on the shirt initially, and it just, without context, it just looks like you're advertising cheese or you're really a fan of cheese. Antimony, it sounds like a punk band. So it's cool. I think it's cool. Anyway. So yeah, get your shirts, get them. All right, SJ Pepper, I saw something. Oh, first of all, Myra, you just cashed in your 15K. I did miss it because I was changing my shirt, open in front of an open window. But it's okay. But I have heard this, that you cashed in your content director chips, your thimbles, which means that you get to choose one of the topics that we're going to talk about on an upcoming show. Kelly loves the panda. I love the panda too. So Charles cashed in his thimbles, or 15,000 thimbles, and you get these by watching the show. And I think Kate mentioned that. But political quilts is something that Charles wanted to see. And so he spent his thimbles for watching the show. He accrued them and spent them. And so next week, I've already started gathering content for the political quilts show. But don't worry. It's not going to be like this. It's not going to be like that. Don't worry. This is a place we don't talk about politics. I have no interest. Zero interest. Zero. We're going to look at quilts from the past that are amazing. They're amazing. They're amazing quilts that have to do with campaign support. They have to do with, it's less about causes or ideologies and more about like actual candidates they were supporting, or they're incredible. There's one, Remember the Maine. I found this quilt that's about anyway, it's amazing. So Myra will be, what have you chosen, Myra? What would you like me to talk about? Joey Veldkamp.
Yes. I'm very excited. I don't know anything about him, so I'm excited.
I don't either. So I'm going to go and I'm going to investigate and I'm going to make a show about that. About him. So, and this whole thing, by the way, hey, Scrapitude, this whole thing, hey, Dee Marie, the whole thing is that it's not a presentation, it's an exploration. I go where you go. I sort of gather things and then we look at things together. Okay, so what is this quilt behind me? Let's start there tonight. This quilt is, it is from this particular book, well, sort of a catalog. Kate, would you put up the link to this particular publication? It's an unusual format. This is it's the 20th century's best American quilts, and it's sort of a catalog. It's sort of a magazine. It was published in. It was like a Quilter's newsletter publication, 1999. So Prime Media produced it. So in Golden, Colorado. Okay, I wonder if Mary Kate's here tonight. But it was a very interesting thing. They sort of surveyed people, and they had a whole bunch of candidates for the best quilts of the 20th century. I mean, are there problems with the best quilts of the 20th century? Yes. I mean, it depends, like, who's best, you know, who was making these decisions, but they didn't get it too wrong. I mean, there's really, really wonderful stuff in here. There's an Ed Larson quilt here, of course, Harriet Powers. There's two Grace Snyder quilts, Faith Ringgold. Oh, the Matterhorn. You remember this one? We looked at the Matterhorn quilt a while ago. You remember that crazy thing? That's pretty famous. So, hey, Reese. And so this is a quilt that's in there. And I thought, I haven't talked about a crazy quilt in a minute. So why don't we do that? And that's what we did. And this quilt, I'm going to zoom in so you can see more of these geese. Hang on now. Some people, they love crazy quilts so much, and I can appreciate them, but they're not always my favorite, my sort of go-to. Here it is. But this one I really like because it's got these, hey Reese, it's got these animals on it, and I really like a quilt with animals. So this quilt was made by Mary Mitty Bell Agner Barrier in 1920. It is 71 by 80 inches. It's silk, wool, and cotton. It's machine embroidered. And this is what this publication has to say about it. Let me look at the detail here. This is so great. It's so cool. It's so cool. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So they say, Mitty Barrier had no experience in embroidery or crazy quilt techniques when she created the Barnyard. That's the name they've given to this. Well, I don't know if she gave it that name or not. I'm not sure. Anyway, so she had no experience, right, in embroidery or crazy quilt techniques when she created the Barnyard using new fabrics and recycled scraps from the family's clothing, including blue serge from her father's pants. Interesting. Oh, it must be that blue. It must be that royal blue. Wow, her dad had kind of cool pants. That's great. S.J. Pepper, do you wear blue pants? Do you wear electric blue pants? The imaginative embroidered motifs were largely inspired by the animals, birds, and flowers that Mitty Barrier saw on her family farm, except for the panel with an alligator stalking a flock of ducks. Really? Well, let's find that one. Hang on now. Where is it? Where is the alligator? I see a very large rabbit. Where is the alligator? Hold on. Oh, there it is. Oh my God. Oh my God. What? I see Stephanie on the screen and she's like, that is ridiculous. What? Okay, let's go back to this. She drew, that's all it says about it. Okay, so except for the alligators, she based it on her life. She drew the animals on paper, then stitched through the papers. Hey, Patty Okra. And yes, exactly. Are they alligators? Anyway, stitched through the paper following her design lines. Each block is a complete scene with complex stitchery, varied in texture to suit the individual designs. Oh, look at the partridges. These are really great. She bought her embroidery thread for a nickel a ball. When she was unable to find the gray for the squirrels, she unraveled a pair of her father's socks for the thread. Let's find the squirrels. She was concerned that the animals weren't always in proportion. Hang on, help me find the squirrels. Oh, here we go, I found them. But this is insignificant given the charm of the individual blocks and the overall effect of the quilt. Let's get in these squirrels here. Okay, yeah. The quilt has been used over the years to entertain her children and grandchildren. She was very proud of it and liked nothing better than showing it to visitors. Some of the silk patches deteriorated with time, and she replaced them before giving it to her granddaughter. Look at that, 1920. And she had raised her granddaughter whom she had raised. She embroidered an inscription reading, "To Kathy from Grandmother Mitty, 1973," in one corner. Cool, huh? Hey, Susan. Yeah, expertly executed. Squirrels, this is so right. Oh, I love it how you said that. Yes, it's so right. And chicken, the chicken, that perfectly formed chicken, top billing, right there at the top. The chicken oversees the rest of the quilt. Where does this, Kelly, I love it too. I'm so glad you like it. Picking the intro quilt for the show, it's like picking a wine for dinner, it's like, you have to get the right vibe, I'm so glad you like it. And where does the quilt live now? M. Sujan, it's a fine question, and I don't know. But I can tell you that this is pretty good. The pictures, the quality of the images, really good. And speaking of that, I wanted to tell you, and Stephanie Cake and Susanna the Pie Johns both have the unofficial nickname of being the Merry Wranglers. And so tonight I was like, Stephanie, can I show them the beta test of the Quilt Nerd Finding Aid, the book, the library finding aid? And she was like, we're still testing it. Don't do it yet. And I thought that was a really good point. But we have talked about, recording all of these publications, like the contents of these different publications that I talk about and that we all have and that we're all buying, and these quilt book libraries that we have. When you see something wonderful like the Barnyard quilt, well, how do you know where to find it again later when you're looking for it? And we've talked about this on the show. Well, and many of you are like, I want to help. I'm happy to tell you that Stephanie came up with a brilliant way to do it. And yesterday I spent many hours entering data into this beta test, and it's working. So when it's ready, we'll talk about it. Chris Barnes subscribed with Prime. Chris, wait a minute. Little champagne cork. Thank you so much for subscribing with Prime. You have to kind of it's not easy. They don't make it easy to subscribe for free with Amazon Prime, but you can subscribe to one Twitch show every month. And you can choose this one. They don't make it easy, but there is a way to do it. And I really appreciate you, Chris. Thank you so much. So let's do, what? Hey, wonderful, Chris. That's just terrific. Well, gosh. We're not even getting started. I mean, we are getting started. We haven't even begun. But I'm glad you're here. So, wait, one more. This is a one-off. You're welcome. Look at this quilt. I was going to have it as the intro quilt, but you know what? I was like, I don't know. If you have a quilt that says, ha, 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 there's a kind of a subtext you could infer or something. I found this quilt in this book, and this is why the Quilt Nerd library finding aid is so important, because I want to know, where the hell did I see that LOL quilt, basically. Where did I see it? I know, Dee Marie. I mean, it's just like, it's a quilt church moment for sure. Well, I was looking at the Wisconsin Quilts state documentation book, which is wonderful. I know, everybody needs this. Raffle waffle, I know, right? So, it's so great. It's so great. And so, you know, with this database, we'll be able to say, oh, yeah, okay, you can just search for haha quilt, or, you know, the laughing quilt. I think it should be called the laughing quilt. But here, so it's in the Wisconsin book, and I'm an Abe Books affiliate. The Quilt Nerd Show is an Abe Books affiliate, and if you buy these used books that I talk about all the time through the Quilt Nerd link, you kick a few ducats our way, and that would be great. It would be really great. So this was made by, this is just a one-off. It's just, I couldn't not show you this quilt. It's on page 108 of that book if you have it. Pattern, pieced initials AH. I'm like, really? I feel like this quilter was like trolling a little bit. Like she was like, my name is Anna Sophia Koch Horn. Anna Horn. AH. But she started with H. You know what I'm saying? You know? It's like, okay, Anna.
I think Anna Horn was a real rascal.
I think she was a rascal. Exactly. She was a rascal. And we love her for it, because this quilt is amazing. And yeah, I mean, wow. Here's the date. You want to know the date? You want to know the date? Between 1917 and 1919. That's when this quilt was made. I mean, that was 100 years ago. You know? And we say around here, keep quilts weird, you know? And we mean it. And what we mean by that is keep quilts original. You don't ever have to design your own quilt. You don't. You can make quilts your whole life using patterns. I mean, I need a pattern if I'm going to make a pieced quilt. I mean, I can make like a star block without looking at this point, but like, come on. I need directions. I need measurements. Yeah. But, you know, you're a person. You're like, you know, you're the only you around. So you can make your quilts, you know, look the way, however you want them to look. And you don't have to follow the rules unless you want to. And if that's who you are and you want to like do a thing, following the rules, totally. I don't know your life. Maybe that's what you need. That's cool. But don't be afraid to keep quilts weird, you know? Because the ones that we really like around here are the ones that are just, you know, really one of a kind, like this. It's 83 by 91 inches. And yeah, and the only comment here is that Anna incorporated her initials and those of her son Albert in a quilt that could also spell laughter. Yeah, you could say that. Anyway, so the Wisconsin book is wonderful, if only for that. Okay, so to keep things going here, hey, Betsy Dragonfly. I know, I want to make it too. And you know what you could do? There's the ha 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 quilt. Somebody ought to make a LOL quilt. Lol, 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 lol. I mean, that O could be annoying. But wouldn't that be fun? Lol, LOL. And just do it in those wonderful shirtings. Isn't this like some shirtings and some pinstripes and things? So good, isn't it? Padma says, maybe somebody told her she shouldn't be boastful and proud and she didn't need to sign her quilts. You know what? Exactly. I mean, yes, but yes. Okay, exactly. Padma, yes. Everything. So, okay, so to keep things fun and light and free and easy, this is a little segment I'm calling Fruit Salad. Here are just a few quilts with fruit on them because it's summertime. By the way, I'm much more comfortable in a t-shirt than I was in that fleece sweatshirt. I don't know. I'm in these books all day, you know, and I find so many wonderful things. And what did I find? One of these quilts that you're going to see sparked this idea. Raffle says I should probably make a ROFL, rolling on floor laughing quilt. 1,000%. You could also make a LMFAO. Is that what it is, Stephanie?
LMFAO.
Yeah. If you don't know what that is, you're going to have to look it up.
Wasn't there a band called that?
There is. They had one hit. but it was a really big hit. So we all know who they are. Yes, so this quilt, okay, these are just some fun things. Look at these little birds. You know, quilts are just, they're so much fun. They're so much fun because people get so creative and they they can just be such a good time. You know, Christmas, I was thinking about you. I was thinking about you. And this is part of the Quilt Nerd merch. Antimony. Antimony is another color for cheddar or chrome yellow, chrome orange, which was a shade of fabric that was used widely in the 19th century. There's also a turkey red shirt, a poison green shirt, and a double pink shirt in our threadless shop. I'm just saying. You thought it was a band shirt or that I was representing chemical elements. And yes, indeed, I am representing chemical elements. Very nicely done. Anyway, so this quilt, so I've just got a few wonderful things. So this is called Cherry Tree. It was made from a kit in 1940. Let's go in a little bit closer on, look at these wonderful little cherries. They're perfectly round. And you know, I was thinking, hey, Dee Dee Brew Crew, Kenny ordered double pink. Mm-hmm. You're going to love it. It's a great shirt. Remember when I talked about Grace Snyder? I might have been for the Quilt Folk workshop that I mentioned this. But what Grace Snyder did, and she's a very famous quilter from Nebraska, let's go up here. She made a quilt with many, many very perfect little circles on them. And she did kind of a yo-yo technique apparently. So she wasn't cutting out circles and like turning them under with her applique stitch. She was doing some kind of yo-yo technique. I mean, I think I watched some lecture from a person who was studying her. Anyway, so that was interesting to me. I don't know exactly how she was doing that, but if you do like a yo-yo thing, you get a pretty good circle. So I don't know if that sparks any ideas for any of you, but if you want circles like this, you either have to sell your soul to the devil or you come up with something else. But here's these wonderful birds, and this is called Cherry Tree, and it was made in 1940, and it's 92 by 78, and it belongs to the collection of the International Quilt Museum. Several of the quilts that we're going to look at tonight do, but many of them I have found and scanned in for you the scanner because I love it. Okay, let's see what else we got in this fruit salad segment. What else we got? Ooh, fruit basket. So this is a pretty famous quilt. Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've seen it a lot. There are famous quilts and then there are famous quilts. Stephanie and I were talking about how Harriet Powers Bible quilt, we're thinking it's the most published quilt, right? It's got to be. It's in every book. Anyone who
top five. Definitely top five.
Yeah, definitely top
five.
Exactly.
Top three.
Exactly. And you know what's so hilarious? Oh my God. You know the other one that we mentioned that is in everything was literally opposite of the intro quilt tonight. It was Carol Fallard's Corona 2. Here, look. There's the intro quilt. And there's Corona 2. Anyway, we called this show Quilt Nerd for a reason. So this is Ruby McKim, a Ruby McKim pattern. And where do you find the shirts? Thank you, Raffle. Thank you so much. And there's stickers, Christmas, and tote bags. Keep quilts weird. We even have a slogan now. Ruby McKim, if you aren't aware, she's a name to know if you're nerdy like that. Many are familiar. This comes from the Ruby McKim sort of biography there on the website that's still running there. Many are familiar with Ruby Short McKim's quilt and needlework designs. She's widely recognized for her body of work as well as for her book 101 Patchwork Patterns, published in 1931. We looked at this book when I was home in Winterset with my mom. She had the book. I don't think it's ever been out of print. It's really, really one of those, canonical quilt books. Her quilt pattern series, Ruby McKim's quilt pattern series, were syndicated in newspapers all over the country, weekly or monthly. Readers would patiently and sometimes impatiently wait for the next block. So her first published series was in the Kansas City Star in 1916. So this quilt was this quilt was made in 1921, so the pattern was at least 1921, if not a little bit older. But look at all that wonderful fruit. Isn't that great? Kitty Hannah, the turkey red shirt, it's the first. It's the OG, it's the original. Look at those bananas. Look at those. Look at those bananas. Your quilt can have bananas on it. It can. No one ever said it couldn't. Did they? Did anyone ever say to you, you know what? You know what your quilt can't have? Can't have bananas. Oh God, there's so many good ones. This is it could be a sleeper hit. It's a humble quilt. It was made in around 1900, so 120 years ago. It's a crib quilt, and it's called Fruit Bowl. Fruit Bowl crib quilt. Children's quilts can be weird too. Quilts can be not weird, and we love them as well. But I mean, this one's I love this. You know what? Come to think of it, it almost looks like a child made this quilt, and I say that with like the most like sort of respect and admiration. But you know, looking at it now, like, you know, because kids learned really young, little girls learned very young how to sew, you know, back in 120 years ago. And there's something kind of first, weird quilts for weird kids. There's something kind of, I don't know. It's kind of, look at this. Don't you think that, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair thing. It could be, it's not a doll quilt because it's 40 by 30. So doll quilts are smaller than that. Doll quilts are like 20 by whatever. But I don't know. There's something kind of beautifully, charmingly, you know what I mean? Cake, are you feeling that? That it's like this was a quilt that a mom helped her daughter make for the new baby.
It's very cute. It's simple and it's cute.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, and you know what? I don't know if you all can tell, but you see, basically it's a big block. Can you see that it's, hang on, do you see the seams going up from the bottom of the basket? Yeah, up into the corner piece, right up here by my head. And so it's like one big block, and then sorry. And then the corner pieces were put on. So, you know, they're units. And then anyway, anytime somebody, it's off center, Scrap-a-Doo. That's why I love it. You say, indeed. So the color choices are great, Court Quilts. Great color choices, Court Quilt says, getting ideas from my fabric stash. It's fabulous. Yeah, that pale blue and that sort of faded mustard. And then this kind of, I mean, it's almost kind of a blood red, really. And, the blue has faded, I'm sure. It's possible that gold was red, right? I mean, maybe. Fruit Bowl, maybe not. I don't know. If they had one red, they probably had the Color Fast red for all of those things. But anyway, so it's great, right? Okay, ooh, wow, look at this. This is Jean Ray Laurie. She comes up all the time. You can't really avoid Jean Ray Laurie when you're looking at awesome quilts. And this quilt is called Cherry Wreath. And it was made in 1976. And what's really cool about this quilt is everything. And one of the specific things that's cool about it is that the way it's shaped. And do you know, I'm sure many of you do know, that the reason that quilts were shaped like this, and we will see a couple in just a little bit when we look at Chintz quilts, the reason that they were shaped in this particular way was to make room for the bedposts. Yeah. Why it went away? I don't know. Maybe it's because it's hard. It's hard to do that. And not all beds have bedposts. But yeah, quilts were shaped in this way because you could, make the bed easier, basically. But it's really cool. And that she did that in 1976. And I've said it for years. It's like, why don't people do that anymore? Well, Jean Ray Laurie, before I was even, born on the earth, where was I? I don't know. I don't know where I was in 1976, but it wasn't too bad. Anyway, she was like, yeah, I'm totally going to do the old school thing with this Technicolor quilt called Cherry Wreath. Sashing, blocks, pink and red. Pink and red. Raffle loves the stripes on the border. Same. Padma says, cake. I'm afraid my imperfect quilts will end up at the thrift store after I'm gone. Maybe even the near perfect ones. You know what?
I have that fear too, Padma.
Yeah. I mean, we all worry about it. I don't know.
That's why we need to be grooming the younger generation to love our quilts, even if they don't want to make them. They should treasure the gifts we give them.
Mm-hmm. They should. And you know what? Interesting. I'm going to say something daring. I'm going to say something kind of crazy. Chris was going to... He gets to cover the window, the shape of this quilt. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. You made me think of something. So, it's true. Our quilts will be vintage one day, and then they will be antique. And we know that quilts, like everything, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, everything goes, yeah. But what's hard to get rid of? Books. Books and photographs in books and things, So if you look at quilt history and you look at, recording things, your quilt might go away. But if you write something about your quilt, you take a picture of it, maybe you love certain quilts of someone that you know, and maybe you could write some kind of monograph on them. I mean, seriously, if you're here watching the show, you enjoy quilt history, you enjoy the investigation, the culture of quilts. Well, Padma, do you have a memoir in you? I'm serious. I mean, look, Jean Ray Laurie's quilt, what if it was gone? It's not. It's at the Quilt Museum in Lincoln, but what if it was gone? Well, we're still looking at it. It's still living on with us, So we study these things, we write about them, or we even just watch this show. And they do live on. You know what I mean? I've been thinking a lot about all that recently. I don't know why. I don't know. It's probably because I'm looking at all these quilts and I'm like, where are they now? A lot of the quilts in these books, I'm sure, since the books have been published, I don't know. They're not all in museums. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, good. Yes, haunt the people who throw them away. Indeed. Kenny says someone should form an eBay site just for trading in handmade quilts. I love that. You know what else? There was
the orphanage for unwanted quilts.
The orphanage for unwanted quilts? Are you kidding me? What is that book? What is that? There's a young adult.
Oh, yeah, there is.
The orphanage.
Oh, no, I can't think. Oh,
what is
the Home for Extraordinary Children?
Yeah, for Home for Extraordinary Children, Home for Extraordinary Quilts, and they're all recorded, so it's a quilt documentation project by default, and the person who uploads their quilt can say what can be done and what cannot be done with it. So it's like, you can totally make this into clothes. I'm good with that. Great, it's awesome. Then everyone wins, right? Or you can be like, don't cut up my quilt, but you can use it as batting in another quilt. Or, if you cut this up, I'll haunt you, like Padma. The Home for Wandering Quilts? Are you kidding me? That's good, Quirk. That's real good. Orphan quilts. Okay, look. This is a place where we come for inspiration. And then you go off and you do the projects. This is called Love Apple, by the way. That's right. In fact, Love Apple is a pattern, or a style pattern motif that I'm coming across quite a little bit lately. I don't know. Isn't it great? You want to know when this was made? This was made in 1882. 1882? What? I don't know. That was probably the wrong sound effect. But wow, right? It's from... Now, where is this from? I've been doing better about... So it was made by Mrs. Harmon Deaver McNabb and Mrs. Anharna. Okay. Oh, yeah. I think it's from the Shelburne book. Anyway, so I'll get back to that. But 1882. Look at that creativity. Look at that wonderful mess. It's just kind of a wonderful mess, you know? And it's stained. Is that a reason to throw it out? No. Oh, how about that? It's double pink. Double pink, everybody. We've got double pink. We've got double pink. You should get a shirt that says double pink. There's Quilt Nerd merch, and you can get a shirt that says double pink, and that's double pink. Double pink is a fabric that was a pink ground, which is the background of a fabric, a pink ground, and then a cinnamon kind of color that was printed on the top. So a tiny little florals or little circles or something, and that cinnamon color printed onto a pink fabric, and that's double pink. Because you get, double the pink. Double pink in the house. Double pink. Raffle called it. Everybody's got it. Everybody's got it. We need a sound effect for double pink. Oh my God. What is it going to be? Padma, you're the one. You get the sound effect stuff. Double pink. Cake, what are we going to do for double pink? You're good at this too. Double pink.
Oh, I got to think about this. I don't know.
SFX. Double pink SFX. Stay tuned. A kiss? Oh.
Like a chef's kiss.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, you're so smart. Everybody's so smart. I love it. I know. I love this too. M. Sujan's like unbelievable. I love it. I love it too. Okay, there's a few more in the fruit salad. I should remember. Oh, look at this. I know. You're welcome. I should do these theme shows more often, like the ocean, fruit salad, horses. It's good. I mean, I was a little worried. I was like, is there enough? We're just going to look at fruit quilts, but of course there's enough. I mean, that's why the show's going to be on forever. You should tell a friend about the show. Come on down. In fact, I almost forgot to, I didn't mention this to you, Stephanie Cake, but I successfully put a Quilt Nerd tab on my website. Yeah, maryfons.com. There's a Quilt Nerd tab, and it tells you about the show, and you can watch the trailer. So if anybody's like, what is that? I don't know what it is. You can just send them to that tab, and they can watch the trailer, and they'll come by. Bubblegum pop. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's very good. A bubblegum sound for double pink. I like it. It can't sound like this though. I'll look for it. So this quilt, but it's a great idea. This quilt is called Watermelons, and it was made by a woman named Otesia Harper. She put her name right at the top. Pieced. Is it pieced? I don't know if it's pieced. It might be painted on there. But this is, cork, that's a great idea. I'll come back to it. So this is, this was made between 1980 and 2000. So now we see we're skipping all around in time because we can do that because people have been making quilts for a very long time. And seeing the changes is really wonderful and dynamic and fun. Otesia Harper. I got this from, so it's an African-American quilt show coming to Antique Days. Oh dear. This was written by Catherine Cartwright, and I need to make sure, where I need to tell you where I got this. Hold on now. Hold on. Antique Days. Oh yeah, here. Oh yeah. Okay, it's from the Yazoo Herald. Yazoo, Mississippi. I might be saying that wrong. Yazoo? I'm not sure, but Yazoo, Yazoo, Mississippi. And Yazoo, Mississippi is a very famous place for quilts. I knew about Yazoo because of Sarah Mary Taylor, and we're going to talk about Sarah Mary Taylor sometime. I've got a huge folder of her quilts that we haven't looked at, but she's one of those people like, I don't know, she's a Nancy Crow kind of figure where it's like, how do you even do a segment on somebody who produces that much work and is so influential? Yeah, Susan, it's so fun, right? So Otesia Harper is also from Yazoo, Mississippi. This was written in 1717 in the Yazoo Herald. That was about an auction that was coming. I've got another Otesia quilt to show you, by the way. Oh my God. Kenny just registered wanderingquilts.com. amazing. It's amazing. Actually, don't call me. Get a committee together and do it. Make it happen. Oh, I love you. Just like Eric. I'm like, you know what would be cool? And he's like, I got the website. Okay, anyway. So this is watermelon, but let me show you this other quilt, okay? This is really famous. This is also Otesia Harper. And it's called Coke. And I was like, well, it's not fruit. Oh, wait, well, Coke covers the world. Otesia Harper. This is at the Smithsonian. And I was like, well, it's not fruit, but it sure is summer. It's red, white, and blue. Isn't this great? Oh my God. Anyway, so this show that was in Yazoo in 2017 had a little bit about Otesia at 92 years old. So that was 5 years ago. Otesia Harper has made a name for herself by expressing her creativity through a needle and thread. Mrs. Harper's work is displayed in Yazoo City at Rick's Memorial Library and inside the Sam B. Olden Museum on the second floor of the Triangle Cultural Center. One of her greatest achievements is to have a Coca-Cola quilt displayed at the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. This quilt is perfect. It is a perfect quilt. There is nothing else to do or say. Thank you so much for watching the show. I'm shutting off the lights and I'm leaving. It's just... some of Mrs. Harper's quilts feature colorful African-American designs, while others were created from ideas she got from magazines. She has even created special ordered quilts for people from as far as New York and Pennsylvania. In an interview with Life in the Delta magazine, Otesia mentioned she doesn't quilt much anymore. Instead, she enjoys the memories revolving around the countless quilts she's made over the last 80 years and the few remaining masterpieces she keeps with her at home. Oh my God, can you imagine? Look at their little faces. The Coke bottles have little faces. Keep quilts weird. Don't be afraid. Put faces on your quilt. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to influence you. I mean, I don't know. I mean it when I'm like, if you just want to do, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Okay. This one from the Oklahoma book. We actually saw this before. We saw it before, but I just want to mention it. Because it's really crazy and it goes way back. I'm dilly-dallying tonight, but it's Saturday night. This is what we do. It's what I do. I don't do anything else. Where are you? Oh, here. Okay. This is called Original Fruit Tree Design. It was made by Elizabeth Jane Ray Jenkins in 1869. Yeah, fruit tree. You see the theme? It's all happening. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, Padma! Not real Coke in the beverage. I love it. Okay, so this is what the inscription says. Okay, 1869 now. Okay, inscribed, quote, G.R.E.L. Jenkins was born January 30, 1869. This, my son, I done asking God to bless you when mother is gone. And this wonderful person who wrote in this wonderful book, it's one of the best state books, I love it so much. Quote, this charming original fruit tree quilt, a design in naive folk art style, was made by Elizabeth Jenkins, a Missouri native and mother of 15 children. 15! Elizabeth made this quilt for her son Robert, who was referred to as General. It is assumed that the initials G.R.E.L. stand for General Robert E. Lee. Though no records exist as to the exact year the quilt was made, it is believed to have been sometime between 1869 and 1896, the year of Robert's marriage to Susie Hitchcock in Jack County, Texas. In 1899, the quilt maker, by then a widow, journeyed to far western Oklahoma Territory to what is now Beckham County. There, Elizabeth and a number of her sons and sons-in-law filed for land. General Robert Jenkins and his wife Susie were among those who filed. Yeah. 15. Mm-hmm. Looks like the fruit gum. Interesting. So obviously you've got fading here with the branches, right? Don't you think? I think so. Gumdrops. They look like gumdrops. Amazing, right? Amazing. Oh my God, Pam is still on go. Okay. Just joking. Okay. Couple more. Look at this. I wish this were lemon. They were lemons, but they're actually oranges. Oranges. This is called Orange Basket. This one, I mean, it's just, look at how puffy the oranges are. So great. Dana says, Mary, totally off topic, but I got to see the Tristan quilt in person at the V&A. That's wonderful. I remember you showing it in an early stream. It was amazing. That is awesome. I'm so glad you got to see it. It's pretty amazing. It really is. It's a big deal. And you were like, I know about this quilt because I'm a quilt nerd. I love it. That's so cool. And the V&A is great. Is the Beatrix Potter exhibit still up? The Beatrix Potter? Because the Beatrix Potter quilt is pretty great too. Okay, this is a once known Pennsylvania German quilt maker, late 19th century. I mean, that's pretty much it. This is at the Shelburne Museum. I got this from the Shelburne Museum book, which is very nice. A little bit of, it's really doing it for Raffle. Loves it. Charles loves it. I love the one basket at the bottom that's upright. Oh, what? Oh, you're so observant. You're all very, very observant. You see that one is, oh, that's so cool. That's so cool that she did that. Oh, that's so cool. What a great spotting it that you did. Nice, Charles. Very nice. Very nice. That was very good. Because I did not notice it. I was also reading, but why not, man? Turn it that way. And you can say, a lot of people would say it's because people did, they put a mistake in their quilt on purpose because only God is perfect. And it's possibly true. My friend Jonathan thinks it's true. I don't know. I haven't heard enough people say that that's the case for me to sort of put weight on it. But I don't know anything, right? I really don't know anything. So it's possible. Or she could just be a maverick. I've got this one and then one other. This is fascinating. This is a detail of this quilt, okay? But let's just go back here. This is a detail of, oh wait, hold on. It's an album quilt. It's just an album quilt. But look, they're picking apples or cherries. These people, look at these people rendered in this quilt. Oh my God. Like, what's happening here? They're both here picking fruit from a tree. Look at the hand on the fruit. I mean, like, is that a heart in the hand? I don't know. But the person who made this could have filled in the hand. But it looks kind of like that heart and hand motif that we see so much, you know? This is also at the Shelburne. Catherine Cox Williams made this in 1873 in Ohio, possibly. This unusual design is dominated by figural blocks depicting scenes from the life of the quilt's maker and owner. The Conestoga wagon near the center is embroidered with the inscription N.A. Williams, 1873. According to family history, the quilt commemorates the 1871 marriage of Newton Allen Williams and Catherine Cox. It's likely Catherine made this for her husband. The flowers and wreaths owe a considerable debt to the Baltimore album style of the 40s and 50s. There's our block there. This quilt, though, with its many narrative scenes and rare African-American figures, breaks the conventions of earlier, more purely decorative Baltimore style. Wow. I mean, it's so interesting. I mean, this figure, that's a top coat, right? That's right? That's what it looks like. And this person's, driving a cart. Animals. Love it. Look, there's our fruit. See, there's even more fruit in it than I thought. And those are pineapples. There were a lot of fruit quilts I did not put in the show. There's a log cabin setting that's pineapples, of course, or pineapple. I mean, I don't know. This quilt it's fascinating, isn't it? It's really interesting. There's the Garden of Eden, often a thing. Well, he's carrying beer. I like this person, I think. I like Catherine. I need more information, but pretty cool, right? Okay, and then the last one I have for you is this. It's just beautiful. It's so unusual and interesting. Hey, Shauna, the detail is nuts. Agreed. And you know what you get on this show, as much as I possibly can, high res, because you know what, that Office scanner, it scans at 600 DPI. I don't even know why you would need that much detail, but maybe if you're doing a show like this, you want it. This is just, isn't it great? It's called Muscatel Grape. Muscatel Grape. 1937. Let me zoom in. Muscatel Grape. I didn't think I was going to find any Muscatel grapes, but I did. And I found it in the Wisconsin book. Let me make sure. Yes. Yep. So this is in the Wisconsin book we looked at earlier. There's a big entry on this. So I'm going to zoom out, and then I'm going to show you this real quick. This is also in the book. Sorry, it's a little messed up. It's cocked to the side. It says, arranged from a block of the Kentucky Flower Garden, original about 1823. So in the book, see, they have a picture. They don't always, folks don't always have this, but these state documentation books are really good. So they talk about the person, and then of course they show her quilt, and this is Genevieve Peters made this quilt, and they also show like the pattern that she used, or the drawing that she used, from the newspaper. So there's a whole story about this. They give a lot of information. Look at her and her guy. Look at Genevieve. Anyway, she adapted this quilt and then did it. Let me zoom in a little bit. So it is applique. I mean, the quilting stitches are crazy. And those grapes, I would just be so, I couldn't finish something like this because it's just 3 fabrics. I mean, my God. It's tough. I really like scrap quilts because I'm always, finding something new, it keeps my interest. But, oh yeah, this was a kit quilt. Mass-marketed quilt kits were available from needlework supply company catalogs, retail stores, women's magazines, newspapers, quilt shops, and even insurance companies and farm organizations. The time and labor-saving kits came in attractive packages with a variety of components. So it's a kit. It was a kit. You're just going to have to get that book through a Books affiliate link there and learn more about it. And that is fruit salad. Yeah, that's fruit salad. It's a summer day. It's a summer day, and it's a summer night. And that's what we do. That's what we do. So, okay. It's time for a break. We're going to do a break. And then we're going to come back, and I guarantee you. Oh, you see that transition? We've got you can hear that, right, Cake? Can you hear that? Okay. Can you hear the guy driving outside and blasting music? You couldn't? Oh my God, that's so great. It's really loud. Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna do a cake break, and that's when the cake comes on and just kind of takes care of business and catches questions that I missed or anything because I'm, doing things. And then we're gonna come back and look at some chintz. And if you are like, I don't know, I'm not a chintz person, I'd rather look at OTCR Harper's quilts, of watermelons and Coke bottles and things. I sometimes do not give chintz its due, but maybe it's because I don't know that much about it. So tonight we're gonna learn more about it. So Cake, take it away. I'm gonna put the screen on. You get the transition too. You ready for this? You ready for this? Oh dear, hang on now. Do I have it? Oh no! Just a minute. Just 1 second. I did this last time. It's okay. It's okay. I wanted to do it just to see how quickly I could do it to get it. So how are you over there? Are you good?
Good, yeah. I was just reading, I'm catching up on the chat. I see Kelly can't believe she's typing this, but she's excited about Chintz.
Oh, listen, I get it. I totally get it. I really do.
You know, quilt nerds say those kind of things all the time, and if you're really a real quilt nerd, you get it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. Let's keep it going. What else did Kelly say? Damn it. So,
you know, Mary, you mentioned gas-powered irons at the top of the show.
Yeah.
And I think that calls for like a Twilight Zone moment because I've been listening to The Museum of Extraordinary Things by Alice Hoffman.
Yeah.
I think it's an older book. I've had it for a while on Audible, and I finally started listening to it the other night when I didn't have electricity.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, what else am I gonna do? I have an Audible book I can listen to. And I just listened to a chapter tonight where they talked about gas-powered irons.
Really?
And I'm like, what is this insanity?
No.
You know?
That's very strange.
Yeah, it was talking about the garment district at the turn of the century, in New York, and all these poor people that had come from Ukraine, and they were, living in the pogroms, and they had all these like really rough sounding jobs, and one of them was ironing in the garment, the garment making factories, or like the garment making factories. Yeah, and they used gas powered irons. I mean, that's insane.
It's just not safe at all. I mean,
yeah. Well, they said that, and I mean, it was kind of like it wasn't really in detail, but they said something. And they were children. I forgot to mention that.
Oh,
they
yeah.
were like,
oh, great.
Yeah, 12-year-old children, and using these gas-powered irons, and they had to be careful because they sparked and caught things on fire.
Of course they did.
And I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Like, oh my gosh, the child labor.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying. Things are better in some respects. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay.
All right, so I see that Kenny and some other people are now involved in this project with the Wandering Quilts, and I think it's really amazing that you guys have created this whole business. Do we know what it is yet? What it's going to be? Is it for orphan quilts, or I'm interested to see what is happening here. Oh yes, Triangle Shirt Factory. Yeah, that was really a very, very tragic story. I'm a big true crime person, and they always talk about the Triangle Shirt Factory with just the horribleness of that whole situation. Yes, you guys are workshopping this. I love it. Yeah, Mary had mentioned a while back that she gets excited by the audience members, the participants, the nerds, coming up with these fantastic ideas and just running with them, and it's like, you heard about it first on Quilt Nerd. Good question. Presley at home is asking how to spend your thimbles. So, if you have experience with Twitch and gaming, you may have heard of channel points. If you have no experience with Twitch and gaming, we just call them thimbles, and that's all you need to know. So if you look at the chat, and if you look right below the spot where you type in to send a message, you'll see a little tiny thimble. Liberally, spend them liberally. And right now I have 29,000 thimbles. I use mine to highlight stuff so that you guys can see it, but you guys can use them to buy wonderful things. So if you click on that thimble and the number, it'll pop up and it'll tell you what is available. So for $100, you can highlight your message. That means it'll stand out from the rest of the conversation, and Mary will see it more easily. Or if you just want to shout about something and highlight it, that's great too. Soundboard Pirate Mary has not used a whole lot of soundboard noises tonight because we've had lots of really wonderful quilts to look at, but sometimes things get real hijinky in here, you know, with the silliness and whatnot, and the soundboard has some really great noises. So you can take over the soundboard for 250 thimbles. You can do a crisp selection for 3,000 thimbles. And that means you get to tell Mary what she's eating during a show. Woo! And for 15,000 points, you can be the content director. And I think, as Mary mentioned, I think Kenny on the last show requested political quilts. So I'm really excited about that. And then tonight, Myra has requested Joey Voltkamp's quilts. And I actually just, while Mary was talking, I looked at Joey's Instagram and I recognized his quilts. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see what Mary turns up on that. So, let's see.
It's going to be great. I said Charles did the campaign quilts. Why did I say that?
It's okay. I'm sorry I didn't correct you. We're all friends here.
Thank God you're here. Thank you. Great. It's good. So I came back, but I mean, continue.
This is interesting. Okay. So Kenny's great idea, already got the domain name, still workshopping exactly what it is, but he says, I think one group of people that might be interested in a wide variety of quilts is property buyers for production companies. You are correct.
Wow.
I live next door to somebody who does set dressing for all kinds of movies and commercials and whatnot.
Really?
And they're always looking for stuff like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, my guy is never, he's just never set dressed for anything that required quilts, but yeah, they're, when they have to put together a house, I mean, quilt spotting. Has anybody in Discord been able to get a screenshot? Some of us have had trouble getting screenshots because Hulu and whatnot block you from getting the screenshots. But in the disco, we have this really great channel called Quilt Spotting so that you can put those pictures and screenshots in there.
If you ever see a quilt, I mean, when Harry Met Sally, there's a great quilt in there. And in fact, this is, the finding aid. It's all I think about is like this database, right? And we're so close. But Cake, I found 2, not 1, but 2 photographs of Windblown Tulips, which is the Marie Webster pattern Windblown Tulips is a Marie Webster quilt design that was made, and it's the one in When Harry Met Sally. Somebody used that pattern for Meg Ryan's lovely, yummy yellow flower quilt. And there it was, and I found 2 different versions of it. And that's a quilt in a movie. And so Quilt Spotting, that's where it's at. That's where it's at.
Yeah, Raffle says she's having trouble getting a screenshot. Yeah, and I really can't stress this enough. We have to figure it out. We're not trying to, we're not trying to steal intellectual property.
No.
We just want to show everybody the cool quilts that are in all these shows and movies. So.
What's happening?
Yeah, I've been taking pictures with my phone too.
It's when I change. Oh God! You know what? It's sensitive, is what it is. No. See, okay. Oh God, I can't. Here's the problem. I can't test the green screen without being live. Oh God, what a crack up! It's terrible. It's just terrible. What am I gonna do? Chintz doesn't know what to do with this. I look like I'm dead. Well, that's a little better. Cake, fix it. All right. Well, anyway, let's talk about Chintz. Anyway, so no, it's wonderful, and there's a lot of different ideas that come out of the show in the community. People do very cool things. And if you stick around for a while, you'll see that. And by the way, if you're new, and we had some Facebook people come over tonight, I think, and, we kind of toss around like, the disco and like, we're talking about, Padma. I'm like, yeah, Padma is great at the soundboard and stuff like that. If you lurk here, if you're in the lurker lounge, that's totally cool. If you drop in just every once in a while and you check things out, that's great. If you're brand new and you're you're like, I don't know, I don't totally get everything that's going on, and like I'm new to Twitch. What are thimbles again? Like Cake did a brilliant job describing everything and explaining things, but you'll get it. You'll get it real quick. And the thing is about the Quilt Nerds is it's this very interesting self-selecting group of people. We're kind. We're smart. Because we like school. I think everybody here who comes to the show and enjoys the show, they raise their hands a lot. Or maybe they didn't. Actually, Stephanie, you told me you didn't raise your hand very much in school because you were a little bit shy. The point is that we spend our Saturday nights looking at Chintz. Okay. So like we're not the enemy. We're not out to get anybody. Did Kelly just say salt and pepper? Kelly just said, I'm sorry.
Let's talk about Chintz, baby.
I don't know whether to love that or say, no, it's great. Let's talk about Chintz, baby. Let's do it. Let's talk about Chintz. Okay, so Kelly needs, no, you don't need sleep. You need Chintz. That's what you need. Let me just get rid of this ridiculous green screen problem. No, that didn't do it at all. Anyway, so this is Chintz. This is actually very interesting. I'm going to show you five images of Chintz quilts. This is actually a part of a quilt. And I'm just gonna so all of each of these 5 images, and then we're gonna watch a little video. We're gonna watch 2 parts of a video about how Chintz was made, because it's pretty amazing. And Chintz quilts are some of the oldest, some of the very earliest kinds of quilts that were made in America or imported from Britain into America. A lot of these fancy quilts that these like fancy ladies used to make, back in the day, they didn't even make them. They bought them. A lot of them bought them. Some of them had their enslaved people that they enslaved make them, right? So, there's always more to the story. And the point of the whole show is to investigate the truth, We just want to tell the truth. So it's like, wow, cool, because the truth is always much more interesting. It's much more interesting than like what you heard, So all of these 5 images that you'll see, Dee Dee, same. Oh, Chris, yeah, super chintzy. We've heard that term, chintzy. Oh, she's so chintzy, or the chintz curtains at your grandmother's house or whatever. Yeah, well, buckle up. These 5 images are from the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. And all of the images that you see are public domain. Also, the Met has, the Met, when you search the collection, when you search quilt in the collection, you have a lot of images that are free to use, and they're really high res too. So if you are interested, you can go to that website and poke around. Okay. So this is the center of a quilt. This is just the center. And what I'll do, actually, is I'll show you this. Okay, so this is a Chintz quilt. We're going to look at it next. I have just a little bit from the Met, right? Just a paragraph or so to read about each of these quilts. But this is like a full Chintz quilt. So this is just the center of one. And anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess a date on this? Okay, I'll tell you. 1790. 1790. That's very old. Here's what they have to say about this quilt center. John Hewson, the first important and well-documented textile printer in America, arrived in Philadelphia from London in September 1773 at the invitation of Benjamin Franklin. Yeah, that Benjamin Franklin. Trained to produce the highest quality block printed textiles at Bromley Hall in London, Hewson set up a calico printing manufactory almost immediately. He quickly gained, I'm going to zoom in even more because we're going to see what all this means. Though he quickly gained fame for his flowered dress goods and printed coverlets, and for panels like this one. Though they may have been originally intended as handkerchiefs, many of the dozen or so that survive were used as center panels in quilts. These treasured, high-style bed covers usually have several wide borders of vibrant chintz, some with complex pieced or appliqued areas. The center panels are known to be Hewson's, look at these, but look at this, to be Hewson's work because one was included in a quilt made by his wife that descended through the family and is now in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. The panels all show a graceful urn. Oh, they all show a graceful urn with flowers surrounded by birds and butterflies. The fabric was printed in stages with several different blocks, and certain colors were hand-painted. Oh, interesting. Yes, well, chintz, this traditional chintz, hand-painted. Hand-painted on fabric or block printed. Are we going to see that happening? Yes, we are. Don't go anywhere. Okay, this one. We're going and put them in chronological order. 1815. Bridgewater. Oh, what's happening? What's happening in the chat? Grantchester, Chintz reference. Oh, interesting. Grantchester, Crosley at Home says, Grantchester on PBS, Season 7, Episode 2, Chintz references, not complimentary to Chintz. Chintz is problematic. I mean, there's a lot. Chintz is I mean, you're talking about the British being in India. That's where we're going with all this. I mean, what's his name was making chintz he was like pals with Ben Franklin. But I mean, we're going to see a video of how chintz was really traditionally made. It was all imported from India. I mean, for a very long time into Britain and then into the United States. I mean, this kind of fabric was block printed or hand painted. And it wasn't made here. It wasn't made in Britain. It was made initially in East India. And I mean, we know what the British did to India. I mean, what happened with, So it is really complicated, right? And it was so expensive. Chintz was so expensive by the time it was made in India and imported to Britain and then imported into the United States. Only very, very, very wealthy people could afford it. I mean, look at it. My God, So when people talk about the colonists making quilts and like, oh, the people on the Mayflower were stitching quilts together, it's just not true. They didn't do that. They were barely surviving, in this new world. And so the kinds of quilts that were, anyway, that's a whole thing. We can talk more about it. But anyway. So this is the Bannister Hall quilt. Okay. 1810. Between 1810 and 1815, says the Met. Look, I'm sorry. Look at the paisley. I just have to zoom in some more. Look at that. I mean, they're saying block printed and hand painted. All they say about this is the Bannister Hall Printworks was founded in 1798 by Richard Jackson and John Stevenson. Between 1809 and 1825, it was owned by Charles Smith. Oh, who cares? Sorry, but it's like their whole life. And I'm like, who cares? It was the leading firm for woodblock furniture chintzes. But the thing is, I mean, it doesn't say based in Philadelphia. Like, it was probably based in India, right? I don't know. Franklin was a printer. Makes sense he'd be interested. He had an interest. Oh, this one. Palampour Tree of Life. So, the Palampour. Oh yeah, this one, 1815. God, this is really cool. I like how dark it is. I like that dark fabric. Look, I mean, okay. I'm like, look at this. Look at this. That motif. Chris Mess, I happen to know that you are a tattoo artist. I've never forgotten it. Because you were the first tattoo artist that came into this show and was like, I like this show. I have no idea about quilts, but I'm learning and I like it. Look at this motif. I mean, come on. Either you've done something like this or you might be interested in doing it. Look, I mean, this, you know what? If you want to be the chintz tattoo guy, and I'm not, I'm serious. Like, there are motifs in chintz from the 18th century. Obviously, they're just insane. They're so cool. Oh, you know what, Cake? You know what? I have several not good tattoos. Oh my God. Maybe Christmas. Christmas. Could you fix my terrible tattoos? I have a couple. When people ask me what my tattoos mean, or what they represent, I say bad judgment. That's what they represent.
Yeah,
but
bad judgment in your 20s.
Yeah, exactly. My 20s. That's what they represent. But you know what? If I got a tattoo, well, but chintz can be really problematic. But wouldn't it be cool to have like a chintz motif? Well, maybe it wouldn't be cool. I don't know. But it's a good. There's something there, right? Fabric somehow.
Yeah, something quilty, fabricy, pretty, design oriented. Yeah.
It's something like that. There's something there. Chris could figure it out.
I have to be honest. I think chintzes are beautiful.
Yeah.
But I have a really hard time when I see them, like if I don't look very closely to see the detail, if you just glance. They really remind me of those Indian tapestries that you get at like a Grateful Dead show.
They do.
Really beautiful tapestry.
Very beautiful Grateful Dead tapestries. Very good. Oh, I could tell you stories about this guy I met in college. Anyway, yes. But I get you. And Lynn Bassett is like the foremost expert on, early American quilts. At least she's one of them. And I know Lynn, and she's lovely. And I told her once in her home, in her actual home, I was like, chintz, I don't really get it. And she was like, I felt terrible because there's a lot to love. There's so much to love. It is busy, Padma. It is busy. Franklin was many things, Kenny. Susan R. Michaels says she loves it. You said it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Mother Nature loves paisley. Quilting Politic. Sue, I didn't see you come in. Sue, when did you get here? Maybe you've been. Don't be mad. You're like, I've commented 5 times and you haven't seen it. Anyway, it's good to see you. I'm glad you're here. The first chintz, here's our tattoo artist you showed, would cross over as a tattoo very well. Maybe we'll go back to it. Okay, so this boldly graphic quilt was constructed in America in the early 19th century. Oh yeah, this one is 1815. Yeah, okay. Using fabrics that originated in India, the center panel and inner swag borders, and in England, which is the outer chintz borders. The center panel is a palampore, P-A-L-A-M-P-O-R-E, an Indian hand-painted hanging of a stylized tree of life. Okay. The T, outline of the piece, shaped to fit around bedposts. Ow! Is typical of quilts made in New England. Okay, yeah, many New England merchants were involved with direct trade with India and China during the period this quilt was made, and it is likely that owning a quilt featuring a palampore was considered highly fashionable, signaling sophistication and knowledge of far-flung lands. Okay, one more. Is that right? Yeah, 2 more. Okay, this one, it's the famous one. That's all. That's all I know. It's called Chintz quilt, but I see it all the time. It's one of those ones that's published constantly, I feel like. Oh, interesting. An arm sleeve tattooed in chintz. It's okay. You know what? Congratulations. You're doing it. Sleeve tattoo, chintz. Go. The home for unwanted quilt, thewanderingquilt.com, and Kay's getting a sleeve tattoo. Settled. This between 1820 and 1830. So here what you have, okay, so I told you that only the richest families could afford this fabric, this pricey material. This is a really good example of the birth of fussy cutting. And we've talked about this before because this is one of the things I know about chintz quilts, and I don't know that much about it. But you look at this. So fussy cutting, if you're not a quilt person, means that you get fussy about a piece of fabric and say there's a flower motif in the fabric. So you get this beautiful floral fabric, but there's this one part of it that you want in your patchwork. And so you get real fussy with your scissors or your rotary cutter and you cut around that motif. You cut around that flower so that you can use just that flower in your patchwork. Well, that is what the person who made this quilt did. They cut around the pieces in the chintz. Look, you see, let's see, can we find that? Okay, so this flower, this guy right here, there's no gender, is maybe this. Anyway, in art, the point is they fussy cut around a piece of fabric, a piece of the fabric, so that they could make it last longer. Probably. I mean, chintz was so expensive, you could fussy cut your fabric and applique these pieces onto sometimes a linen background or a linen ground, or cotton or wool, whatever it was. But I mean, look, this center piece, that's been cut out of a bigger piece. That's what they did here. So actually, I should have looked this up. Is that what being chintzy means? I doubt it. Please don't clip that, because I won't. As though so many people are clipping this show. But like, I mean, some of you are, which I love. But anyway, I don't know for sure where the term chintzy comes from. I should have looked it up. I ought to know it, being a quilt nerd and all. But this is like kind of the birth of fussy cutting. I mean, or it's an example of people doing that when they make quilts, right? Sort of getting out the pieces that they love. Oh, interesting quilting. I don't know. I'm looking on my screen. Can you see? Yeah, it's like a clamshell. Oh, it's getting a little too close. This is about as close as I can get. Cake, did you put the link in the chat with the Metropolitan Museum quilt search?
I did.
If you all go there, you'll see this quilt, and you can see this quilting pattern, which is really interesting. M. Hicks, you just resubscribed. You've been subscribing for 9 months. This show, you've been subscribing for 9 months. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and you know that I do. Thank you.
I actually have a little bit of information about the etymology of chintz and chintzy. So,
please.
Chintz, of course, is from a Hindi word, which I'm not even going to try.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving, I think it's a phonetic spelling of it. It's CHIMT, which means spattering or stain. So it means a stained or patterned calico cloth, which I think they probably mean like printed on, yes. However, the word chintzy is from a Middle English word, which means miserly or stingy. And that word was originally spelled CHYNCHY. So it seems to me that somewhere in that time,
yeah,
Americans and the British with their lazy languages, confused the Hindi word for this type of fabric with this Old English word or Middle English word for stingy. Interesting.
Stephanie Cake, thank you.
Disclaimer. So Honey says it's pronounced chint in Hindi.
So Honey, it's chint. So Honey says it's pronounced chint in Hindi. So Honey, you know what? Thank you.
Wonderful. I do disclaimer. Those were from Wikipedia.
That was from Wikipedia. So Honey's like, I got this. So amazing, wonderful, and yeah, I mean the English language, she really gets around. She pulls from all kinds of things. So chintz. Okay, it's crazy. So and so I look at these. Thanks everybody. I look at, and Chris too. I saw all this. Oh, hey Esther Scott. Thanks for following. I hope you enjoy the show. We're about to watch a video about chintz, and so here you can see more fussy cutting right on the side of my head. That's cut out of a larger chintz piece, and this is cut out too, and this is a tree of life. So this one was 1835, between 1835 and 1840. Really old, they're old. Okay, so we are going to now, so a lot of times I'm like, I don't know, do I really, it's not that I don't care, of course I care, but there's a, I'm more interested in other kinds of, in other kinds of quilts, the stuff that comes later. But then I was like, because I was thinking about, I got to go back. I don't want to just have the show be, we're quilt nerds. We got to know everything. We got to do our best to learn about these things. So I was like, I always have heard, hand painted and hand blocked, and India, the source of these wonderful designs was India. And I was like, well, what is it like? I mean, what does it look like to make chintz? And I thought, well, let's look at it, together. And then also another thing, and I was thinking like, maybe I should do both of these things tonight, but we're not going to do that. But I was like, how did they make linen out of flax? Because, it was like wool or linen. Like you had to make sheep and make wool from sheep back in the day, or you had to plant flax and make linen fiber happen out of a plant. There's cotton too, right? But I was thinking like really early stuff. So I found a wonderful couple videos about flax, making fabric from flax. And I was like, well, we got to watch that too. So we're going to watch that at some point. I'm taking it back, people. And so we are going to check this out. And this is a wonderful video from, it says The Making of Chintz, behind the scenes at The Cloth That Changed the World. Now this is from the wonderful museum, oh no, it's in Canada, the Royal Ontario Museum. Oh, we want to subscribe. You always want to subscribe to these channels that you like, because they need your clicks. They really do. And your follows and your subscriptions. It's very important these days. And so so what they have to say about this, is that the Royal Ontario Museum exhibition, Cloth That Changed the World, India's Painted and Printed Cottons, was 3 years in the making. And this exhibit happened in 2020, okay? We're going to watch 2 segments of this. And invoked the talents of many people, and they talk about these things. So lead curator Sarah Fee is going to take us through this. She talks, it's a 40-minute video, and Ms. Fee talks about all kinds of things. She takes you through the whole exhibit. It's great. Stephanie, I did not give you the link to this. I'm sorry, but it's the making of chintz behind the scenes at Cloth That Changed the World. So we're going to look at how chintz is made. Here we go. And then we're going to look at some of the things in the exhibit. But you think about October 2020, pandemic, man. I mean, that thing descended in March. So this museum was doing its best to take you through the show, because I'm sure they were closed. Okay, let's take a look. It's great.
And it was artisans in India who mastered and perfected the techniques. Now, they used what may seem to us simple ingredients such as rusty iron, buffalo milk, molasses, roots, and seeds, but they combine these ingredients to create what are in fact very complicated chemical reactions.
Hang on now.
Indian artisans had access.
Hang on now. Hey. So Hani says, this exhibit has a beautiful exhibition coffee table book. I have it and recommend it. Hell yeah. Stephanie, can you make a link for that?
I will. Thank you for mentioning that. So, honey, I just found it as I was looking for the exhibition.
Beautiful. That's great to know. I mean, this video is so good. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm getting the book because it helped me appreciate chintz. Anyway, okay.
Potent dyes that are native to India.
Hang on.
Complicated chemical reactions. Now, Indian artisans had access to potent dyes that are native to India. These include indigo fera shrubs that give the color blue, turmeric, like the turmeric we use in cooking, the rhizomes or roots of this to make yellow, and the root of several rubiaceae plant species, including the chayavar that is found only in southern India and Sri Lanka and gives the most vivid red for which these Indian cottons were famous. India's strong sun and its calcium-rich waters also contributed and gave it some natural advantages.
I mean, I didn't know that.
But used alone, these ingredients will not produce color. Instead, as I mentioned, they require complex chemical reactions and manipulations. So to create red, purples, and black, Indian artisans applied dye agents or metallic salts known as mordants, and these bind the plant dye to the cotton. To create pattern in blue requires a different process known as resist dyeing, wherein you apply wax or mud or some other substance that will resist the dye bath when you immerse your cloth into an indigo vat. And at the same time, to get the blue to adhere to the cotton, you have to adjust alkaline levels using processes such as fermentation and then oxidization to get it to adhere. So that, in a nutshell, is some of the secrets and the magic behind Indian cotton color. Now, I'm also going to tell you that a synonym for these painted and printed cottons is the word chintz. Now, we think of the term chintz maybe as being a flowered cotton cloth made in England, but in fact, this use of the term chintz only happened after the 19th century.
Aha!
Up to that time, the term chintz was applied to the originals that were made in India, so India's own painted and printed cotton. So I will be referring to them in this lecture as Indian chintz.
Look at this. Look at that exhibit, right? I mean, so honey, I'm so glad you said that the book is great. That's fantastic. I'm not surprised, but I did not investigate whether they had a book. It's just great to know. Thank you.
Large painted Indian cotton that you see before you, that dates to about the year 1740, probably took 10 different specialists and 6 months to complete. After all the dye applications, washings, it would then be polished with a shell, given a glaze of rice water, and in this particular case, then gilded with gold leaf. Now, Indian artisans historically applied mordants and resists, these substances, to create pattern using 2 different types of tools. They could use a special bamboo pen that is called the column.
This made me appreciate chintz more, because you look at those things. I mean, what was that? 1790? 1790. I mean, it's like they're painting with markers. I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's amazing. So, I mean, anyway, sorry.
Which is a sharpened bamboo stick around which wool is wrapped, and into this you soak your mordants or your wax resist, and then you squeeze on it to release this onto the cotton.
Can I zoom in on that? No, I can't. Wonderful.
Or you could use printed wooden printing blocks. Now, these are hand-carved blocks with various designs on them that you then stamp onto the cotton surface. Now, each of these techniques requires additional special ingredients. If you're going to be hand painting, you need to coat your surface with buffalo milk to prevent the colors from bleeding. And if you are printing, you need to mix a thickener into your mordant in order for it to adhere to the block and then transfer to the cloth. So neither technique, printing nor painting, is straightforward or simple. So how to convey this complicated knowledge to viewers?
Okay.
We devote 3 cases.
So then she talks about the exhibit, right, and how they do it. And then, I mean, incredible, right? Beautiful. And when I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they did it. It's not like, oh, it was so primitive back then. They didn't know anything. You know, look what we can do now. It's not about that. It's because, I mean, people who lived before us knew things that we have forgotten. So it's not like that, you know, but it's just like, I don't know. The internet does make things quicker in a lot of ways. And so when I see manufacturing done in a different way, it's just beautiful. It's just like, oh my God, it's incredible. It's incredible. Why is buffalo milk so magical and so yummy? A very good question. I've never had buffalo. You know, Ivana sent me honey before. Bridgewater, do you know a guy? Do you know a guy with buffalo milk? Because if you send me some, I will literally drink it on this show. I will. Don't you write that down, Stephanie Cake. I will. I would love to. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? They have videos of people making it. Exactly. Okay, so there's one other just piece of this video that I want to watch because they show some quilts. And it's a little bit shorter. Okay, yep. Just a little bit more because I want you to see that part of it, okay? Oh, wow, look at that, some papal robe. That's how I feel about papal ropes. I'm not Catholic. I didn't grow up that way anyway. Okay. Let me make sure this is the right place. Hang on now. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is it. Okay, yeah. Let's do it.
And shows Indian chintz trade textiles made for export to the European market.
Mm-hmm.
Europe, from about 1650, became one of the major consumers of Indian chintz. From around the year 1500, Europeans too began sailing to Asia in search of spices. And for about 100 years, spices were their main trade. However, these European trade companies from Portugal, Britain, France began also carrying Indian chintz back to Europe. And by 1650, it had become a true fashion craze. Indian chintz was altogether novel in Europe, where cotton does not grow and was unknown. It was superior to the linen in wool that was worn in Europe at the time, in that it was washable and could achieve these bright colors. And it was less expensive than silk.
Hand painted and hand blocked all of that fabric. That woman's dress, I know you're tracking this, but like, appreciate. Hand painted and blocked. Hand painted for a dress.
Silk, which was
amazing.
The main luxury fiber at the time. So Indian chintz began actually as a fashion, as a furnishing fabric. And elite Europeans used it to cover the walls of their bedrooms, studies, libraries. They also covered their beds with it, their large poster beds, as canopies and curtains, and some even used it to cover the chairs. The most fashionable thing you could do was to have a bedroom decked out in matching Indian chintz, and that's what our large wall hangings are in the exhibition. They're known as palanquins, and these were used to cover the beds and walls of these elite European homes in the 17th and 18th centuries. Now, for these fabrics, Europeans favored designs.
Ooh, look at that. Wow. Oof. Look at that bark. Oh, my God.
We're both familiar and unfamiliar. We find on them flowers and animals that come from Europe, from an imagined China or chinoiserie, and even from India. Our Ram botanist Deb Metzger has determined that some of the animals and plants portrayed are inspired by Indian species, such as flying squirrels and Indian almonds.
Flying squirrel.
That the chintz painters might have observed in their own environment.
Amazing.
Now, installing these enormous wall hangings, some over 9 meters high, was a challenge.
Wow.
And our team had to use a scissor lift or a cherry picker in many...
Cherry picker! Fruit salad! We've come full circle! I did not plan it. I didn't. I mean, I couldn't have. Are you kidding me? I'm eating chips and drinking wine. I can't be like, oh, now I'll end on the cherry picker thing. Amazing, right? Really interesting. And I have to say, like, I do appreciate the chintz more now. I do. You know what? I looked over at Cake and she was like, but I didn't even look at her like, right? Do you appreciate chintz more? But I was like, I appreciate it more. And she was like, yeah. I mean, I do feel that way. What do you think, Stephanie? It's cooler now, right?
Yeah, watching somebody make something by hand like that. I did have some understanding of the block printing process,
sure.
But watching artisans make something, it really does give you more appreciation for, and the effort, and then the skill. I've done some block printing, and my prints are not that nice and perfect and pretty.
I did not know that about you with the block printing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Who else out there has done hand dyeing block printing? I'm interested. Maybe for the next Quilt Nerds on Parade, some of you should show your wares or your projects. That's very interesting to me. But yeah, it's just always, one of my favorite writers. Andrew Solomon, so great. He said it's very hard to, well, he was talking about politics, but it's very hard to hate someone once you know their story. Once you know their story, you know that person, and you're like, okay, well, I understand why you're a jerk about that thing or whatever, you know, but I understand. And it's like, if you don't, you know, I was like, a Chintz, but then you know it a little more and you're like, oh my God, that's what all the fuss is about. You know what I mean? Cool. Yeah, really cool. Wait till we watch the guy from like County Cork in Ireland, or no, I think he's Donegal or something. He's in England making flax, making linen the old-fashioned way. Very, very interesting too. It's just wonderful. Padma, you gotta do the block printing. Chris is gonna take a deeper dive into the chintz. Really? You had an old roommate that used to make blocks to paint with. I don't know. There's so much cool stuff to see when you're looking at the old way to make things. I mean, I'm not the first person to say that. Hipsters all around the country really are micro-brewing and making things the old-fashioned way. But I mean, I don't know. It's just seeing those those markers, you know, the pens they were using, bamboo pens, I think. Just gorgeous what they achieved, you know, this really interesting thing. My friend Sophie, she took a class where they made their own paint because she's an artist, and at SAIC they made their own paint. Fascinating. Anyway, so everybody, Myra just had a bowl of Bing cherries. Interesting. Oh, and she says that they were local, sweet, juicy, delicious, and fat. She said fat second. Local, fat, sweet, juicy, and delicious. There was some other thing we were joking about. Anyway, months ago. If you're new around here, please come back. The show is different every single episode. And yeah, it's a crack up. We have a really good time here, and I hope you had fun tonight. I did. I learned a lot of things, and I like learning with people. It's way more fun. And tell a friend about the show, and subscribe if you're not subscribed, because you get entered into all the giveaways. And Kate, we got a book giveaway coming up in a couple weeks, right? Yeah. Book a free.
We do. I think it's a week after next.
Week after next. Yeah, and there's just lots of fun stuff going on all the time, and you get to join the Discord, which is just like our clubhouse, you know, where we hang out. So it's my pleasure to do this, and I really, really appreciate you. I love doing this show, and it'll be a year. The week of August 1st will be our anniversary week, and there's all kinds of fun things, really fun things gonna happen, giveaways, and I don't know, who knows? Maybe my sister Hannah will be on the show again. So, thanks everybody. I hope you have a good night. Please be safe. Susan, Kenny, Myra, Mother Nature, Padma, Kelly. Fat with a PH. Interesting. I like that. I love that, actually. Cork Quilts and M. Sue John. M. Sue John, I think it was an excellent show. Chris Mess. Esther Scott, I'm so glad. First time chat from Esther. Well, before we go, you know what we got to do for Esther? We got to put the welcome baskets in the chat for Esther. This is a really, really good group of people, and I hope you'll come back, Esther. The welcome baskets are for you. Thanks, Kelly. You're welcome here, and if you want to learn more cool stuff along with us, we would love to have you around. And be good, not too good, and I'll see you soon. Bye, Cake. Mwah. Bye, y'all. See you Tuesday.